I'm here in
She's
Bali.
Yeah, she's in Bali. I'm in Goa, so we are on these islands, beach islands. Sending you warm sun and warm hugs from here. If you are in a cold country or you're tuning in from Europe or I don't know western parts,
Canada,
where
America.
it is, yeah, really wintry and freezing and maybe snowing, and we are here in 30 degrees. So sending you a warm hug. Today we are gonna talk on movement and meditation, and yeah, I let Malika maybe share her perspective on this, and yeah, let's get going, Malika.
Yeah, so I guess for me, movement and dance is it's our first language. From the minute we hear our mother's heart beating, it's the drum, and we feel like you've just had a baby a couple of years ago. So the baby is already kicking the womb from the inside. We're already dancing and moving, and we're on a planet that's moving at 800 kilometers per second. So movement is a constant in our life. And the more we can align with that movement and the movement that's happening naturally inside the body, the more we come into the flow, come into that flow state. And I'm sure for a lot of people nowadays, especially with spending so much time at home and so much time in front of the screens and computers, it's vitally important to come back to how important movement is as a meditation. It's like that, especially for women, that time when you come back and you just like unwind and unwind the fascia, unwind your body, unwind your mind, get out of your mind and come back into feeling what's happening inside the body. And it's super important. So I'm just turning my phone on airplane mode so we don't get that. Yeah. Yeah. So I am the creatrix of Five Elements Dance Activation, which came out of my teaching. I was teaching African dance, which I started doing African dance. Well, I was led to Africa as a healing modality, healing with my ancestry, because my mother is from Jamaica, and there was a big denial around our black ancestry, and through that guidance of connecting to my ancestors, I got taken to Africa when I have very small children. Imagine having your little son now, living in a hut in Africa. That's what I did when I had two small children, and lived in a traditional village, where we were dancing, and movement was such a huge part of life. And even though life is really tough in Africa, it was the dance and the movement was the way that people released energy in a way that they connected to the divine, and was the highlight of being there was the dance. And so when I came back from Africa, I started teaching African dance and culture and ritual and ceremony and everything. And then I realized, because I was in Australia, like a mainly predominant white culture that didn't really have a rhythm in its roots. And and so I created the Five Elements dance, which was a process using all of the other psychosomatic processes that I knew to help people to get connected to their body and connected to that place where the body moves naturally. So I'm a big lover of somatic movement, which is like if you watch your children or you watch a newborn baby, they're just in their bodies. They stretch, they unwind. You watch your pet. The why do we call it, downward dog? If you watch your dog, he's stretched, their tongue curls. It's like first thing in the morning, we move the body, and it gives space of the fascia. It unwinds the fascia, which is all our emotions can get stuck there. And when you see old people who don't move, you know, you see they're right. They're all like hunched over, and I mean, you coming from India, right? You would have like huge focus on dance and movement, and being in Goa, there's probably still parties happening with everybody coming out to dance, right?
Yeah, we had like New Year party with 300, 400 people in Arambol, and I was like, oh wow. So I think, yeah, I'm really blessed. I feel, especially during these times, to be in Goa where things are still open and kind of normal, and we have like so many Indian tourists coming. these times just to party, because I think rest of India is still a bit restrictive or whatever, but in Goa everything is moving and flowing. So the energy is really still vibrant and alive, and hardly you would see even people wearing masks on the street or on the beach. We had a tantra festival here in Goa where I was teaching. So where and we had like 60 people in the festival. So it was so nice just to tune in personally and to connect and look into the eyes and hold hands. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, all of these things are super important for our development and for our connection and for our heart, and especially for women and children. I mean, men too. It's like vitally important to have that connection. And I know for myself, like on the days, I mean, this morning I got up, I climbed down my stairs down to the spring-fed swimming pool. I do my yoga practice, I do some somatic movement and dance, and then I sing and I chant, and then I jump in the pool and I swim naked, doing my swimming underwater, and then I feel vital and alive. And if I don't have that and I don't get some natural sunlight, I find it very difficult to meditate if I don't have those practices. So, and I think that one thing we kind of have this misconstrued idea that meditation is like you have to sit there like a stoic yogi and you're in pain with your legs and and all this, and yes, that is one form of meditation or mindfulness practice, but anything can be meditation. So, like coming from the background of using dynamic meditation or practices where we're more dynamic in the meditation, but we bring that same awareness of focus of the breath. And that's very much what the five elements dance is also. You're focusing on the breath, different breathing patterns as you're moving the body, and just even this expansion, like following that expansion with your body, and then following that contraction with the exhale. And we start to align ourselves with the breath, which brings us into this deeper coherence in the heart and keeps us, air, coming from the traditional Ayurvedic culture, air is the element that feeds the heart, right? So we need to assist our heart by getting our heart rate pumping. And when we wake up in the morning, our bodies are filled with cortisol, which is our like get up and go and ready to start the day and do something. And if we don't do anything, it sort of stays there all throughout the day, and then that leads to people having problems with insomnia, not being able to go to sleep. And it's basically because they haven't moved their body enough during the day light hours. So I use it as a practice. I'm still teaching African dance at my age now, and
I know. I was tuning into one of your African dance online when the lockdown started. I even shared it on our Wonder Women group, and I just love it because for personally for myself, I love dancing. Like this is one thing which makes me the most happy when I'm doing, because I feel expressive, when I'm moving. I can express my emotions, my body movement, everything. So yeah, I just love dancing. And this is what is, I would say, is important, that any kind of movement, whatever you enjoy, whatever is your own truth, make it meditative, make movement as meditative
yeah,
practice. It
yeah.
could be a jogging in the morning, a run or whatever, but when you do that, after that maybe take like 10 or 15 minutes just to sit in silence and see what kind of sensations this kind of
Mhm.
movement created for you. What
Yes.
kind of feeling is it giving to you? Is your brain or head feeling much more calmer or peaceful after doing this movement or practice?
Hmm.
So and it's like I feel like it's so also scientific. If you see a pond, a lake, which is not moving and it's just stable, there is no much movement, we often see it's not so clean. But whereas a stream of water which is moving from the mountains, narrow lanes, it's a cleaner stream of water. So it's same, we are 70% water, physically
Yeah.
as a human
Yes.
body. So if we don't allow this physical mental and energetic movement, then somehow we also get stuck, whether it is mentally. We often see that sometimes we get stuck in one kind of thought. So how
Yeah.
to move
Yeah.
from that kind of thought, and how to allow our brain being more, or our mind being more healthier, is when
Yeah.
we allow movement, or maybe we allow different kind of physical activities. When we enter into different kind of physical activities during the day, whether it is cooking, being with the baby, doing some kind of work, but being really in total into that, and that can also channelize our mind. And similarly, energetic movement is so important, whether we do it through meditation or yoga or somatic or breath work or
Mhm.
whatever it is,
Mhm.
makes us feel interested into it. And as you said, many people just feel meditation is just like sitting silent. No, there are like thousands of meditation practice, or I can say at least hundreds of meditation practices, wherein you can allow so much active meditation and movement, and can release, can
Yeah.
unblock, and let this energetic and physical expansion to happen. Let
Yeah.
the body flow, let the energy flow.
Yes,
And
and with the five elements dance, we start with the in ether because there's more space than there is anything else, and so when we're in that spaciousness, it's like, and we allow the movement to start to come from the inside. Like, yes, I use music, but just allowing the body to start. Like we're so used to being told, like even in a yoga class or even I was finding like with my African dance classes, I'm instructing the people how to move, do this movement, move like this, it's choreographed or whatever. But when you allow this somatic movement where you're just allowing the movement to come from the inside out and you're following the sensations of your body, it's amazing because people, like, the body has an intelligence to itself, and when we tune in and realign ourselves with that divine intelligence, the body knows how to come to homeostasis. It knows how to create harmony within it. We just have to support all the things that we know now scientifically that support well-being. And it's proven that exercise, any form of exercise, is definitely good for us. I mean, we evolved from running away from tigers and lions, and like going out and hunting and picking berries and walking long distances. The human body needs physical exercise, and because we've created a society and a world that's predominantly stationary now, like even children don't get that freedom anymore to just like run outside. I know when I was a kid, we would just disappear. We'd come home from school, drop your bags off, and out you would go, and we would play all day. Even in the winter, we'd be out like making snowman, ice skating rinks in Canada. We would play outside all day long, and we were moving all day long. And now people are just becoming so sedentary. And I know for myself, when I don't move my body, depression can come in, and just negative thoughts come in. And if I want to shift my mindset, the quickest way to shift my mindset is to put on some music and start to dance. So when I'm going to give you my session on the 6th, right? I'm with
yeah,
Wonder Woman offering the session on the 6th. I'm going to be focusing on the womb wisdom, but we will definitely be moving our body because the womb and the body, we need to move. So I hope some of you will join me for that on the 6th, and I'll let you, Shristi, can type in there the information and the details of when my session's going to be, so we get the time right. All I know is it's I think 7 o'clock my time in Bali, or something like that. But yeah, so we'll definitely uh, be tuning in with movement, with meditation, movement as meditation, listening to the deeper whisperings of your womb as the sacred chalice, or the sought after holy grail. And all life passes through there, and your womb too is moving all the time. It's pulsing. There's always sensation and movement happening in there, and a lot of women have become numb to it because we're spending too much time up here and not enough time down in our bodies. And we really need to stay connected to our bodies. I mean, even the narrative that's going on in the world right now, which is just cultivating a lot of fear that has people here. But if you look around and look at yourself, at your own health, and look at your families, and look at really at nature, I was down at the river this morning and just looking at nature and going, she's so fine. Like everything's so fine in the world, really. It's just this mental thing, So the more we move our bodies, it helps us to come back to, I am fine, the world is fine, everything's fine, and everything's going to be fine, But it's when we get stuck in our minds and stagnating that it's almost impossible to meditate then, because the mind becomes so overwhelmed with all these negative thoughts. So, you know, quite often it's necessary to move the body, like doing a strong yoga practice or a dance practice before we drop into meditation, because otherwise it's too difficult.
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, the mind is just chattering, 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 and
yeah,
we're just like trying to focus somewhere or trying to achieve something, and it's not happening. And people are like, oh, it's hard for people. So many times I hear, Malika, that even for 3 minutes just to sit in peacefully with themselves, like
yeah,
people have this, the main question is, okay, we understand the benefits of meditation, but how should we start meditating?
yeah.
This is the most often question we are being
You
asked.
can you can use making love as a meditation. I mean, it's the best meditation there is, right? When you're super present and not in fantasy and not anywhere else but in the present moment with the sensations, and allowing this extreme pleasure. But for some people, it can be extremely painful as well, But whatever is there, to allow that and use that as your meditation on that sensation is a very, very powerful technique, So meditation is mindfulness. It's being focused. It's being present in the moment. It's being present with your breath. So all of these things require movement and focus. So, and then that, closing down to come back inside to reassess your body, your being, where you're at, and everything is super important. So, but I have to go because I have a client who's is here now, and yes, a friend who's come here to my house. So I'm just gonna say I love you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the Wonder Women Festival. I was part of the last one, and we had a great turnout for that. So I really hope that I get to see some familiar faces again, or meet some new friends to share with, and to yeah, to see you on the through the ethers all across the world, as because I really do believe that it's up to us as women to we have to reclaim the feminine, to bring the feminine back into the circle of humanity. And that's
Exactly.
both for men and for women that has been repressed. So
Exactly.
but for women, because we have the womb, we have to come back to honoring this as the sacred portal that all life passes through. And the only way we do that is through reconnecting to her and reconnecting to all that's there, both the traumas, the pain, and the joy, and the bliss, and the pleasure, and bring all of that back into the circle of life. So,
Exactly. Thank you so much, Malika. Just for our audience, we spend too much time tuning in into the phone to get also online on Instagram. That's why, yeah. And Malika has now next appointment. But all I want to say is, yes, giving emphasis on meditation and movement, and through this festival, in fact, we have so many practices which can bring physical, energetic, mental movement, which can bring more positivity in our life, which can bring more aliveness, more joy, more wonder, I would
mhm,
say. And this is
yeah.
what is needed. This is what we need to bring to ourselves and back to our families and friends, especially during these times, when half of the world is still in lockdown and struggling. This is how we can spread, joy to our own life and to others.
And support you
And
while you're in that lockdown to move your body, and don't think that it's
exactly.
all over just because you're locked down. You can still find ways to stay positive, stay healthy, and yeah, stay connected to you.
And stay connected with so many women all around the world who would be joining us. So sign up if you haven't so far, and we have a secret code for you, which is EWWF 2021, and this code can give you directly 20 euro off on the ticket of Wonder Woman Festival. Sign up now and also share it with your friends, share it with your sisters. It helps us to spread our word. Word of mouth is the best publicity. So we ask all our followers, please join us and share. And tune into so many wonderful teachers like Malaika and so many wonderful sessions and topics we are going to address on in this festival. So thank you, Malaika, for joining us
Thank
and
you
taking
so
out
much.
this time.
Love you so
And
much.
we meet you on 6. I will type the timings of your session
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
get the time
comments.
right.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
comments.
Awesome. All right. We're
All
looking
right,
forward
love.
to it.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for listening us. And
Yeah.
we
Much love
hope
and
you
blessing.
would bring, yes, the movement in your everyday life. Wake up, get your body moving, get your mind, everything shift, you know? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye
All
bye,
right. Thank
Malika.
you, beautiful. Love you. See you on the
Love you
6th.
too.
Bye bye.
Yes. See you. Bye bye.